Alright guys, I'm going to be going over the first game here. Sorry, just fixing something real fast. There we go. Okay, so yeah, first thing, I did like this draft, and you guys played it well, especially when we got a lead. There's going to be a few things in the early parts of the game I think we could have done differently. The very first thing I remember is you guys don't clear this ward. You try to basically kill the Rakan. If you guys would have cleared that one, we would have had complete vision control of the river, and then they wouldn't, the Jarvan wouldn't be able to triple buff us as easily because he would be um, less sure of where Titan started, basically. And a thing that we need to make, I'm not sure if you guys do this already, but we need to make sure that you have more of dynamic pathing where you're not doing the same thing over and over, because if people can watch our like a match that's saved on whatever tournament or league that you guys are playing in and see that you're doing the same pathing all the time, basically they can abuse you a lot. So we want to make sure that you don't do that, because this game he gets triple buff on us. um, so I just wanted to talk about that. And as always, I'll just say it for this VOD, since it's still the first, technically the first matches that we've talked together, is make sure you guys are always calling out what side the enemy jungler you're pretty sure is starting on, when you see him, what buffs he has, all that, so we can make decisions based off of that. So, and as well, this is going to be a theme for this game for you, Inabon, is we know he's now on the top side of the map, and you guys can see that he already has, excuse me, both buffs. So his pathing for this could easily be, because we should know that they have a ward here, and he's going to get spotted right here. So he could easily go vertical jungle on us, which he does, and then he could come underneath you. And I know you have your shotgun legs, so it's a little harder. But you want to make sure everything that you do is doing as little as possible to shove this wave, because it's going to put yourself in a bad spot. And I know the shotgun legs really disrupt that, but I'm just talking in general for any lane matchup that you're in, because I know you get away from this one without flashing, but it could have been in a lot worse spot. You did a good job dodging that with the E. And again, the same thing when we see him up here too. We could call out that the blue buff is fresh, so we could tell Titan that he did take your blue, so your pathing would just end up being this afterwards, basically. So always call out any information. You'll hear me always say win with information over and over again, because it's true. And another thing too, you guys do a good job collapsing, and good job not finishing that Wolf Titan and just following through on the gank, since Syndillion was reacting first. And that's him overstaying there for sure. Anytime you guys are in a position too, I know he just fixed it for you, but if your wave ever gets stuck like it is right now, like it's still going to push back to you because of the 4 caster minions, you can always relay that to your team to see if Titan can come up and help you if it gets stuck for too long. But luckily he pushed it back for you. So this is when I was mentioning, since we just saw Jarvan up there, Titan, I feel like you can actually do Dragon right now because of your inventory already. I feel like you could do it. Because you already have Stalker's Blade and 2 long swords, and we have bottom with priority, so they could end up shoving and rotating up here for you once you clear this. I'm fairly sure that we could have, if you would have tunneled right into the back of Dragon Pit, so we know they wouldn't have vision of you too, because we've been pushed the whole time. I'm pretty sure we could have done Dragon right now because we saw him up here. We should also, I'm pretty sure we got vision of this, so we would know that this is spawning as well, so he's most likely going to be stuck up there. So this is where I'm positive we could have gotten this first dragon. So you would have finished it around 6 minutes. And this is a very hard lane to gank too if you don't get onto the Kaisa. So it's always best, no matter what, if you are going to take an if we lose something on one side of the map, if we can just get a small something back on the other side of the map, it's always going to be beneficial for us. So just gotta look to do that. Do a good job here. Now this is something you guys need to be communicating though too. I don't remember if the communication was this, because I know that Glory had to go back because he had money for BF Sword and a Pink Ward, as well as Gnarly had enough for his support item. But the second buff rotation's coming up, so we should be looking to invade if we have the priority, and it's a good matchup for us too, which in this case, everything is in our favor right here. And they don't have TP top for anything along those lines. So we should be talking about this second buff's coming up. You guys already got vision here, which is nice. That we want to invade. And then always talk about back timing, yours and theirs, because by the time our bottom lane gets back to where we can help out, we'll beat the Rakan at least too, because he stayed longer. Did a good job of chunking them out too, so now this buff should just be ours. But this is just more along the lines of talking about the communication of it needs to be. And this guy's crazy too. So if this is the flip side of what just happened here, you guys need to be aware of the back timings again too. So like where's the most likely place that the Gnar and the Sivir would be right now? Are they close enough that they could back up the Rek'Sai or not? And they went back before the Kaisa, so she should easily know that they're in the area. So for the fact that she did that is fucking insanity. So just put yourself on the flip side of it, so you guys don't put yourself in that same spot just because you see the Rek'Sai sitting there by himself. Just if you're going to do anything, just try to poke it from far and try to steal it that way. Don't put yourself at risk too, because he lost summoners and we got a kill from it because he was just being foolish. And I believe there is a point in this game, Titan, where your whole bottom side jungle is up for over 3 minutes. And you're incredibly strong at that point, but you're not getting levels. You're actually down 2 levels on the Jarvan. So you got to make sure that you keep getting your levels, because you did a good job of creating pressure, and this is a really good escape from you. We'll come back to the bottom fight because there's something about it I want to talk about too. Really good escape and job by Titan to come respond as well. So Inabon and Titan, good job here. And then Zendilion responded too, and you guys get a 3rd kill. So really good job there. So we'll go back to this. So your guys' thought process is really on point here, because you can see that Kai'Sa's still only level 5, you're both 6. But when you flash Gnarly, since you know she doesn't have flash herself, you should actually be flash queuing first, because the animation's a lot quicker, and once you slow her, then your ult's going to hit pretty much like 99% of the time. So the fact that you flash ult makes this exchange a lot harder, and then on top of that, Glory and you like switch focus. You go from um, Rakan or Kaisa to Rakan and back and forth when it should have just been Kaisa the whole time, especially right after you get the passive on her, because she's also uh, lower lower level and her hit points become significantly lower. Like let's see, right here. So you get the ward in, and then we get the passive on her right away, and you're going to see that Glory, you're autoing Rakan. I understand the range of it and everything, but this should be our target right now. We have all the minions in the world to help us back up here. You should be just autoing the Kaisa because this is a kill no matter what. As soon as you get the stack on her, she's dead. He also has flash still in this fight, but you guys, your targets. Look, you threw the Q and 2 extra autos at Rakan when it should have all been on Kaisa. Like you shouldn't have been afraid at all in this moment. He's on cooldown completely now. But the whole fight, like what you're doing is right, but if you flash Q first, you're never gonna miss your ult here. Because even when she does her uh, movement buff, then you're still gonna be you'll have such an easier time still of hitting your ultimate afterwards. And the key point to that is the fact that she doesn't have flash, so she's not going to get away from it. So your communication ahead of time should be, I'm engaging right now. I don't know if you guys have a word for it or not. I've been trying to work on like a communication tree. Anytime that you're going to poke versus engage, you guys should clearly have a communication between each other that's just one word basically, so you don't have to cloud the communication from the rest of the team. But if you guys say fire or come up with something that you guys know, that means you're going to full engage. So Gnarly can say fire, and if Glory wants to back him up, he just says the same word right back. He just says fire, and then he can call out the target, or one of you can say, Gnarly can say fire Kaisa, and then you can just respond with fire. If not, then you guys would have another word basically calling him off from doing the engage, and it would be based on other information, where the jungler is and everything like that. But more importantly, I like that you guys had the aggression and the right idea because she's not 6, but the execution of it, you guys could have done a lot better. And you got to remember too, Glory, if he's on cooldown and he's only an auto attack champion too, then you shouldn't, like, you backed up a few times too when you could have just been going hard on the Kaisa, or even just going hard on him, because his W I think has a 16-second cooldown at level 1. So you guys should be aware of the cooldowns of your lane opponents, so you know when it's better for you to back up instead of keep continuing to pursue. So if you focused all that onto the Kaisa, you guys would have got a kill there. But it was still your awareness of the level advantage and the summoner advantage was good there. It just the execution should have been different. So this is, we should be communicating right now, and this is, I mentioned this to you guys yesterday as well. Once it gets to the 10-minute mark, you guys should be communicating about talking about doing Herald together, and you guys are going back at the same exact time. And more importantly right now, you guys know that these two are going to go back to base as well, and 99% of NA teams' tendencies, at least not in professional scene, is they just run straight back to lane. If you watch LCK around this time, we have Titan and Gnarly going back. You'll literally see both supports show up here because it's basically the time to contest it, because they want to crack some turret plating. And if the jungler shows up on the other side of the map, say the the jungler came in 3-man dove down here on Glory, then that means we're 3 versus 1 up here, plus we have Herald on a turret. So if we get a kill up here, we're going to get first turret as well. But this exact moment, you guys are both going back. You both could just be communicating. Sindelian has the priority in mid already. This is absolute ideal time too. Inabon just is coming back from base, so he's going to be healthy and able to respond. He's just got second part of Cleaver. This communication should be, Gnarly, let's go do Herald right now. Because you guys should know the state of the lane right now is Glory is doing perfectly fine. You guys are killing them in CS and everything, but these guys are also going back, and their most common path is going to be coming straight down here. And if we have Gnarly come up here, at the worst case scenario, they find out that we're doing it. We have a 4 versus 3 numbers advantage, and if they want to fight, we're going to win a big fight and get a lot off of it. So anytime the game gets to 10 minutes, you guys should start talking about back timings together, Titan and Gnarly. Or if you have a sub support in, it doesn't matter. You just need to talk about it. It doesn't mean you need to do it right then. You guys could easily trade. This is just the first mountain. It's perfectly fine to trade it for this Herald. If it's Infernal, it'd be something we would want to contest more. We're stronger in this moment as well, but all of our gold is on one player, so we have to keep that in mind as well. But this is when the conversation should start about Herald, is what I'm referring to. And this is also the only team fight I think that we do really poorly because our focus is so split. So the communication right now should just be disengage only, because Sandilian's split up here from you guys, and you guys can clearly see the other 2 members. So this is going to be 3 versus 4 for probably like 3 to 5 seconds. So this engage, I know we talked about it, but you guys did a good job of just disengaging. That's where it should have stayed at. We should also know the timing of ultimates. We should be talking about my ult's in 10 seconds, so we know not to do this, because his ult's not even up yet. And I'm not sure if I know he gets the cast animation off, but I don't know if he kills, or he gets the, yeah, see, he tries the cast and then dies with it. So this fight would have easily been ours if we just talked about cooldowns ahead of time, but we ended up losing this fight. 4 for 2, I think. So you guys just gotta be a little more patient and talk about your cooldowns all the time. Doesn't matter what they are. And also when you guys do Dragon too, this is more important after the 14-minute mark when plating is done. You guys should do your best to position on the mid side of Dragon, because if you decide that you can't, you don't think you want to take this fight, or if you think you can crack the mid turret, if they position on the bottom side of Dragon, you can easily just turn it into being a macro play and getting turret, and possibly too, if you're stronger than them, you could just zone them out of this side basically. So this is something too, communication. You guys should be just letting Inabon know that you don't know where their jungler is. You haven't seen him in a minute, but more importantly, Inabon, this is just a theme. If we're making a play on the other side of the map, especially when you have TP, you should just be chilling out. I know you see 10 versus 9 and you probably want to go, but we may need you to TP down on this side because we're trying to do Dragon, or we're setting up to do Dragon, I should say. But this also feels like the way that the Aatrox positioning is kind of a bait. Just remember, if we're making a play on the other side of the map, it's perfectly fine just to farm. Sometimes you're going to be in games, even though we first picked your champion this game, and we want you to carry on it, sometimes it's just not going to work out if the jungler camps you. It's just part of the game. And the same thing, communication should be letting, even though he's not on your guys' side of the map, you should be talking to him about what you're doing. Even if you're just like say you're showing bottom or invading bot jungle, so he's aware of it, so he doesn't over commit to stuff again like this, because they just return gank and kill him right away. So, and again, if we're making plays on the other side, it doesn't matter if it's Sindelian in the mid lane or not, or if you top. If we're making a play bottom, if you're not going to basically assist, and we don't know where the enemy jungler is, just assume he could very well be coming to your side, so it's perfectly fine just to farm and chill out for the moment. And they get first turret, but not by much. Always call out item spikes as well, for us and them, just so that we're aware when we can fight and when we should be just trying to farm and get to our second items. I remember hearing you guys ping something about, I think it was in the second game when we were behind, about we're 300 gold away from second or third items, which was good. You guys should do that. But here's my point as well for the Herald. So now it just becomes basically a 5 versus 5 at Herald. And we have to take in consideration all of our gold is on one player right now, basically, for the most part, because he has 6 kills. He has the majority of the gold. I know you guys still have decent gold, and you're not that far behind, but if he has a bad team fight, is my point, then there's a good chance that we could lose the fight. So, but this is now, it just becomes into they get Herald for free when we had the opportunity at like 10-minute mark to talk about it and know the state of the game, especially in the bot lane, that we could send Gnarly up there, and you two could have just done it a lot earlier. So good job getting a pick. So now the only objective that's still easy for us on the map is the top outer turret. The next objective actually is the Scuttle Crab coming up in the top river, so we should be looking that. But this is, I think, the first time in like 3 minutes or so that you've gone into your jungle Titan. So remember what I was saying earlier. You're level 9 right now. He's level 10, but you have 7 kills. Like, you should easily be at the same level as him at least. But you just got to look to get yourself experience too sometimes. I know Rek'Sai's incredibly strong at ganking and her unique pathing and everything like that, but you got to make sure you're continuing to get levels as the game is progressing here. So Dragon's coming up. This is perfect example of what I was mentioning about we should try to get mid positioning. So now it's past 14 minutes. I believe this is an Infernal. Yeah, this is an Infernal. So this is one that we would want to contest, but say it's a Ocean Dragon or a Cloud Dragon. If we would get at the worst case scenario, just our wave management, if we had wave management taken care of before the Dragon, they're going to miss out on experience and gold. But if it's in the mid lane and we do the same thing and we decide to position on this side of the river basically, and if they commit to doing Dragon, you can just literally turn right up and trade it for a turret, or even better in this case, you already have that turret, you can turn it into that. And you guys are strong enough that you could seal them off, because it would make it very hard for them to engage on you. You get a really nice 4-man ult here. But you just should be a little safer too, because remember, they have vision of us. You have to assume they have vision of us here. I know we win this fight, but just nice 4-man ult. And you guys you did a good job in the second half of this game talking about targets a lot too. So right now we should be talking about who we're going to focus. I think Kai'Sa walks back into Gnarly. Yeah, and we get a Q on. And then we turn the game. Yeah, I don't know why she would walk in like that. But you guys get nice kill. So in this in this moment too, I'm pretty sure this is the fight where we go to Baron. Or no, this isn't Baron. I'm sorry. 18 minutes. So we could immediately though just call tell Inabon to chill out because you guys have the priority mid lane now too. So what you could actually do is have one of you push mid and then the other three of you just go straight to dragon. Because if they try to contest you, then you'd be perfectly fine. As we end up trading another 1-for-1, but I think we could have just, yeah, got the wave management under control, and we need wave management taking care of top lane and bottom after this as well, so just got to think of the objective-based stuff as soon as a fight's basically over, and you were a little bit split in a bond in that. That's the last part of the fight. So once we're split like that too, we should just be trying to think more of macro. Unless the guy's super low, then I mean you can try to pursue. But he was almost 100% hit points, I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is also, we talked about it too, is since Jarvan is the warrior build, you guys could blow him up first every single time like you just did, and he's just going to melt. So really good ult again, gnarly, and then you guys fight, and I believe you go straight to Baron this time right afterwards, which is the right call. You guys push mid and then you go straight to Baron. It's really good shot calling here. And you take care of the backside of the Baron pit, which is great. Sorry. So far through the game, we need to really start talking about back timings a lot more, ours and theirs, especially when it comes to 6:30 in the game, because second buffs are coming up for invades. Whether we're in the lead or not, they can invade on us. So it's important that we spend our gold so we can either press our advantage or do a better job of defending the jungle with Titan, back timings for dragons, for Herald, all those things. We need to talk about, just give basically updates to the team a little more frequently, so we know if we can make a objective play on one side of the map or not, based on the information you guys are relaying to each other. Okay. Don't. Oh yeah, this is where we slow down our Baron push. You guys have vision that this is safe here, and we don't have the wave here. We should be just be exiting here. Someone gets crab, and then we can push the mid lane. We also have to realize Gnarly isn't there right now too, and they're gonna have Silas and Jarvan back up in 9 seconds. Don't run through turrets like this. I forgot we did this. I think Inabon's the one that ends up paying the price. Yeah. We get 1-for-1 though, but we use like 2 or 3 summoners, I think. Heal and a flash if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So just, you guys have information of where they are basically, so don't don't take a risk for no reason. You guys could have easily just exited. I don't think this was up yet, because something I always like to talk about is just denying. So deny their jungle when you get the chance to. And then by the time you guys got back to mid, Gnarly would be there too. You guys have enough gold on 3 of you to spend, even 4 of you. So just don't take risks for no reason like that. Especially when we have Baron, we need to keep the tempo and the pressure moving, and Dragon's now coming up in a minute, so you guys should have known that in the game as well. We could have just backed up, denied the jungle, got Crab, and then reset to get Dragon. Because they end up getting Crab. I'm pretty sure we get this Dragon, but just doing the fundamental things and not taking risks for no reason like that is very important. Guys are going topside jungle, which is good. Oh yeah, I think it comes into play a little later in the game too. Anytime you guys are pushing and say you're split, so say Annabon's top or Sandilian's mid and three of you are bottom, just any type of alignment of the players, you guys should be in a parallel line. So it's not easy for them. Sorry, that was a terrible line. So it's not easy for them just to decide, okay, fuck it, we're gonna stack heavier on one side and engage on like I think that's what happens in this game is they had the opportunity to. They ended up not doing it, but they had an opportunity where they were 4 versus 3 on the bottom side, and they could have engaged, but I don't think they did. But you guys should just be aware that they can stack on you like that when I call it being unbalanced. Is where you guys are basically one person's really far back. I think the time I'm talking about, Syndilium was taking care of the wave mid, and I believe Enabon was up top in some fashion. I think that was this game. I think it's coming up after this push, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So now easily reset. We can get the mid turret here and then reset actually, because you still have them locked in their base basically from the minion pressure. So that was good. So now we also can see Baron's up in a minute. So resetting is ideal. And we also have all the pressure in the world from both side lanes now. So if they do come to contest, you guys can just relax and let the minions push them in, and yeah. Take care of that plant again. Anytime you get the chance to, always take care of that plant. Because it just gives them one less way in. But you guys just make a good call to peel off, and Sandilian makes a nice flash charm. And you guys win the game off that. Maybe it's in the second game that I'm thinking of. Maybe it was in the first thing and I wasn't paying attention. Let's go back to... Sorry, it is in this game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is it. This is the timing of it. So basically, right here is an instance of it where they have 4 people in Arius and Dillian's not with you guys yet. They could decide to go in on you. They actually didn't have vision yet, so that was lucky for us. They still end up going in, but we go in. I'm sorry. But just remember, like, he's back here pushing the wave. Just let him basically advance the wave first and then rotate to you guys. Or you guys can rotate to him. Either way. Just so you guys don't give them any opportunity to advance on you guys in the unbalanced manner. So, but you guys did a lot better throughout the game of talking about your targets during fights, but we need to make that a better habit of doing that in the early parts of the games too. So. Okay, I actually just want to go back and talk about one last thing here too for this one. And it's I don't know if you guys actually have goals for CS in the game or not. I actually do have goals for each role by the 10-minute mark, and you guys did a really good job this game. It's usually 70 for top lane. I believe it's 50 for the jungle. It's either 50 or 60. I have to look at my spreadsheet. And then the 2 carry lanes is 85. So you guys are very close to the mark. It's not professional level of CSing, but you guys did a really good job with your CS overall. I want to actually say it's 60, but we always take into consideration like your successful ganking. We'll adjust that too, but I think it's good for you guys to have goals like that. Like I set goals in the past for my team of what time I want us to have first dragon, first turret, herald, like all those things. I can show you a spreadsheet of mine, so you guys get the idea. I don't know if you guys have goals, but it's just a good way for me to, um, if I do become your coach, basically to set it in your brain so it's always a reminder you're thinking about that stuff during the game. Some games it's not going to be possible to make the goal, and that's perfectly fine, but it's just a good tool to basically make you think about X, Y, and Z, especially the objective based thinking, always thinking objective based thinking. So the main thing from this game that we should take away from this is really talking about our back timings a lot more, especially communicating it with Titan based on the time in the game too. So second buffs are coming up. Do you want to invade after we go back here? Bottom lane's going back. We can do dragon if you come this side, or just communicate. They're going to go back probably in the next wave or two, so we'll have the advantage to advance onto the dragon, or we're going to go back first, and they'll reset after us, so we have the clear first shot at getting to dragon. Talk gnarly and Titan, you guys talk about the Herald at 10 minutes, and then by the 12-minute mark, you guys should have some type of plan in motion where you're going to make a play for it. You just have to make sure Glory knows about it. It's going to be very dependent on priorities in the mid and top lane as well. But you guys should at least be starting that conversation ahead of time so you can just make it a really good habit, and then you guys will get a really good flow of communicating based on things ahead of time, and then you guys will know specifically, okay, Titan needs us to go back here because he wants to invade the second buff, or Gnarly, you need to go back because you're going to go and up to the Herald side to create a 4 versus 3 advantage for us, so we can get the Herald, and at worst case scenario, we'll most likely win a big team fight that way. So just start thinking about that and talking about that stuff more.